Barriers to implementing STEM in K-12 virtual programs. Welcome, my name is Jennifer Ashton and I am the head of a K-8 school, and I will be interviewing a few folks today in regards to what is STEM education, why is STEM education important, and what are some of the barriers to implementing STEM education in a K-12 virtual program. You will hear some information from some brick and mortar teachers who have some experience in the online classroom, as well as you will see some additional ideas from other parties involved in K-12 virtual education here in the southeast region of the United States. What is STEM?
Alright, so what is STEM? STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. It is a new movement or initiative to try and get students today to implement real-world problems into their classwork, to help them to be able to solve these everyday problems that you see out in the real world.
Is STEM important?
I believe it's very important because I do believe that in somewhat this generation is missing some of that real-world problem-solving ability, and I think that STEM is definitely a way to work that back into their lives and make science and math and engineering, just school in general, more relevant to them because they can actually see how it can be used out in the real world.
U.S. Department of Labor projects by 2014, 15 of the 20 fastest growing industries will require significant knowledge in the area of science or mathematics. By 2015, the United States will need 400,000 new graduates in STEM fields. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, information technology jobs will have increased by 24% by the year 2016 since 2006. There are some themes within an integrative STEM education, whether brick and mortar or virtual. Learning is a constructive process. Students need motivation and their beliefs are critical to how they succeed. Social interaction is definitely fundamental, and knowledge, strategies, and expertise are contextual. So how does all this tie together?
Part of the next generation science standards actually require these students to be more involved in their education, and they're taking away these multiple choice questions and they're actually forcing them to think things through and write it down and explain problems, and students just aren't used to that today. So I think that STEM is very important because it forces them to think problems through, and it's not just about what the correct answer is, but about why that's the answer and how they actually got to that answer.
What are the barriers to implementing STEM in K-12 virtual programs?
Any online program has a set of challenges for students that aren't necessarily present in a classroom environment. I know teaching online, one of the drawbacks is that you just don't see the student's reaction. I think it's especially important when you get into things like science and math and technology classes, because it's harder to get a sense of whether they're actually getting the material. You can put it out online, you can have them respond back, but sometimes that face-to-face interaction of seeing that student's reaction will give you an indication of whether or not they're absorbing the material. So I certainly see that as one difficulty. Another difficulty, especially with the hands-on component, is that you can simulate things with various lab programs. You can go through and use Blackboard and do some different things as far as math is concerned, but it's hard to have that hands-on element. It's difficult, for instance, in a K-12 program. You may have the materials for an experiment. For example, if you're doing some sort of experiment that involves common household items, you put that list out, all the students have it, they're going step by step with you, but for one thing it's very, very hard to ensure safety because they're not physically in the room with you. You don't know, as much as you put out safety procedures, whether they're actually following them or not. it's difficult when you get into manipulatives. You start to look in to different math concepts, because again, you think they may have it. You're looking at an environment where you think everybody has what they need as far as manipulatives are concerned, but again, without being able to visibly see that person, it's hard when they have a problem, because a student has to be able to self-advocate, has to be able to explain clearly the problem that they're having, especially in a virtual environment, because again, you don't have the benefit of seeing that student. Now you do have the benefit of getting information scanned in. You can see PDFs, you can see emails, you can go into chats. So there are different mechanisms where you can try to simulate that, but it's a very difficult thing to do at times, and to do successfully and consistently. There are some teachers that can do it, ones that are successful with it, I think are very successful with it. However, for most teachers, that's not necessarily within their comfort zone. Some technology is, extensive use of technology still is not. And part of it has to do with the way that we were trained. Especially in older students, anybody above the age of 35 or 40, you weren't trained in college on the use of a lot of technology. A lot of it didn't exist when you were in college. Now, you may have gone back and pursued other degrees, you may have gone in for professional development and had some of that, but in some ways you're still kind of a latecomer to the game. I think that's where teachers who are younger, in their 20s, maybe up to about 30 or so, have an advantage, because in good education programs, that technological component is more integrated within the educational experience.
So how is STEM going to help you?
Hi, I'm a 5th grade student, and over the last year I've been interested in pursuing a career in sustainable energy. The courses necessary to pursue my dream path are not available in my area. By being able to take the necessary related coursework in a virtual school program will help me with my dream of helping society go green. Some examples are hydroelectricity, which is a cleaner, greener way of making electricity, and solar power, another greener way of making electricity. One of the challenges of having an online teacher would be not being able to directly ask questions because it takes longer to reply to your question. So in conclusion, yes, STEM K12 virtual education will help.
Hi, I'm an 8th grade student getting ready to enter high school in August of this year. I've always been interested in a career in engineering, but my high school does not have a STEM program. If I am able to take the higher level math, science, and engineering courses online at the high school level, I can be prepared to enter a college like Georgia Tech or the University of Florida and pursue my engineering career. The barriers to a K-12 virtual program would be not always having a live instructor and not necessarily having all the materials I need to perform the labs that I want.
For nearly 2 decades now, the National Science Foundation has been referring to the STEM program in order to cover science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Although this acronym has been used for nearly two decades, a large portion of educators are not familiar with what this program is at all. With the 400,000 needed jobs in the next year or so, it's critical that we make these courses accessible to our K-12 students in order to allow them to move up into the university level and be ready to fill those needed jobs. The National Center for Engineering and Technology Education believes there is a systematic approach for implementing a successful STEM program. The National Center for Engineering and Technology Education believes successful programs must infuse engineering design, problem-solving, and analytical skills through technology. In addition, programs must possess a diverse group of engineering and technology faculty. Remember, there are over 40 states with K-12 virtual programs. For further information, be sure to visit your state's Department of Education website or career website located in your area to find out what STEM programs are near you. So let's knock down those barriers and implement a successful STEM K-12 virtual program.